You're watching The Whole Living Show on Trajectory TV.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
Operate out of your dreams and your vision and not other people's expectation. Having breast cancer wasn't my choice, but the decision to live healthy so that I could stand before you here today, that's choice. You can choose this very moment to change your life from every perspective.
Tracy Randolph was our speaker. She came back because so many people liked her first presentation. I was one of those people that joined her fitness group, and it made me a better leader.
I grew up in a community, but they had limiting beliefs on what a little black girl could do. Everything that you do in this life is a choice. I choose to live healthy. I choose to change my mindset. I choose to be everything that I dreamed of because I choose faith and I choose me. Live healthy, be everything that you can be today. Choose yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm always jamming in the background to that music there. I love it. So I'm always singing boom, boom, bow, bow. Okay, enough of that. Welcome back to another episode of The Whole Living Show. We are so glad that you are here. And as always, we have a special show for you with an amazing guest waiting backstage. But before we bring in our guests, I just wanted to mention to you, because you know how I like to tell what I see out there. So I was looking on social media and I saw a video that showed that they are now printing meat, which looks very much like ground beef, but they are printing meat. They are taking cells from animals and making meat and putting them in this printer and printing meat. And what you see in the video, and I can't show it to you because it's on social media and I don't want this episode to get taken down because it's too important. But what it looks like is this big printer printing just rows, lines of red and white rows that come out looking very much like ground beef. Now, they haven't said in this video, how this meat, this new meat will be presented to, the country and the world, right? So I don't know how it's going to be labeled, but I just want to warn you, to forewarn you, to say, look out for what you are consuming, what you're purchasing, and what you're going to consume. Look out for it. Try to see if there's something on the label that gives you an indication of what it is. If it's not real, if it's not coming from the actual animal. And yes, I did say that they are taking this meat, they're making it from cells that they are extracting. But just remember that this is not a full grown, mature animal. They're just pulling certain cells, right? And we don't know if some of the cells that they pull are compromised or not, right? So you want to make sure that when you are purchasing your meat, that you are paying attention to the labels. And I hope that they will be responsible in letting us know where the meat is coming from. So this is very much like, if you've been following the show, what you heard me talk about before was the lab grown boneless breast of chicken, right? So now we have something that looks like beef. And then if you heard before, we were talking about the steak that they were creating out of feces. Yes, I said it, feces. So there's a lot out there to look out for. So pay attention to what you're purchasing and what you are consuming once again. All right, so let's get into the show because I have a special guest backstage and we don't want to waste any time because there's going to be so much that we can talk about, so much that we're going to go through. So I have the beautiful LuLu Lee Azran, is an international makeup artist who's been working in various fields of the art of makeup for over 25 years. She is a lifestyle beauty coach who integrates her skills as a law of attraction practitioner and an energetic healer, Reiki master, with her makeup work to create an experience of mindful makeup artistry, everyone. LuLu resides in New York City and engages in productions, fashion, beauty, and bridal work, as well as teaching and touring with her Layers of Beauty workshops. And we're going to get into that when we bring her on the show, and services of artistry, coaching, and healing. And again, we're going to talk about that as well and how she can help you. Her lectures, classes can be taught in a one-on-one or group setting for personal or professional needs. These lectures and classes are stitched specifically to benefit all types of women, gatherings, occasions, and corporate events. So some of Ms. Azran's work and clients include Victoria's Secret's fashion show, NYFW, HBO, Pattern Magazine, Ralph Lauren, Becca Cosmetics, St. Ives, Pfizer, Herbalife, Ricky Lake, Joe Frost, and Hillside Netflix, to name a few. All right, so you know that she's special. She's doing so much out there. But I have to say this first before I bring her on, before I have you give her a virtual round of applause. She is so humble and so sweet, just a beautiful person. So with all of those accolades, she's still just a really beautiful person. So let's bring her in. Give her a virtual round of applause. Woo-hoo! Oh, and we can't hear you. Are you on mute?
Yes, no.
There we go.
Thank you so much, Tracy. That was such a beautiful, big introduction. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. Well, you definitely have a lot of accolades. However, you are just a sweet spirit, So with all that you're doing, the fact that you just remain humble and you're so purposed on just helping women. So before we get into that part, I want to know what you think about all of this. I'm going to put my quotes up, fake meat that's out there.
Oh God, this is scary. It really is. And you know what is even more scary? That now I started to hear about them doing things for fruits and vegetables too. I don't know. Did you hear about the appeal thing where they paint the fruits? Yeah, it's called appeal, like it's appealing to us, but they're painting it like the avocados and things of that nature to make it look more appealing. Not for us, not knowing that it's been like days and days old, but because the amount of chemicals that are in there, it can last for weeks on the shelf and still look great because of that thing that they're going to spray on it. So I'm like, hi everybody. So it's like it really freaks me out kind of, because I'm like, with the animals, we could have figured out, okay, I'm not going to eat animal, I'm going to go vegan. I'm already vegan. What am I supposed to eat now? You know? So yeah, it's really scary.
Yeah, and I thought, here I thought we had to worry about the produce where, it's chemically induced with something, right? So, you're looking for those labels where if it's labeled a 9, then it's supposed to be organic. But if it
Right.
has a 3, 4, or a 6 on it, it's compromised, right? And we don't know. And there's so much of that out there, right? It's very hard to find a 9, even in some of the stores where they claim to be organic, right?
Right.
It's very hard to find that out there. And now they're painting produce. And
Yeah.
I also saw that the spray that you would think would be water, right? But it's some other type of chemical that they spray in the grocery
Right.
store
Yeah.
to sustain those fruits and vegetables, right?
Yeah.
So it's like everything is compromised. We need to start our own.
Growing on, yeah, really, like that's what they're pushing us towards, is to grow our own produce, and that's
Yeah.
the only really kind of way that we can
Yeah.
stay in control of what we consume. But
Yeah. I always say too, like if they're spending this much time, effort, research, money on, giving us
poisoning us.
food,
Exactly.
right? Why not shift that over to farming? Why not make the soil better, right? So that
Right.
we can farm,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that all day long. So you have to come back to that for that topic. For sure. For sure. So I
Yeah.
want to get into some of your background and talk about, what we both have in common, right? And why you decided to switch over, you just mentioned, to being a vegan and
Right.
change your lifestyle.
Yeah. I'm actually, so becoming vegan, fully vegan, has been a process, I would say, probably about 10 or 11 years. That's why I always tell people, people hear, oh, I don't need that, I don't need that. I can never do that. That's what I used to think. And then I kept telling myself what I tell all the people I coach too. Who are you to define? When did you decide to define yourself,
Yeah.
right? We can redefine ourselves constantly whenever we choose to. Like you say, I love your previews. Everything is a choice, and I can choose to redefine myself whenever I want to. And
Yeah.
so, for me, because I do so much energy work and I lead such a spiritual lifestyle, eating meat had became a big thing where I was constantly conscious of what I'm putting in my body, not necessarily the chemicals as much as energetically, how much suffering those animals go through. And
Yeah.
then I'm putting that in my body. And I was like, I don't want it. I don't want all that pain. I don't want all that suffering. I have enough of my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I need to add that into my body too. So
Yeah.
I just started really thinking about what is it that I'm consuming. I'm Middle Eastern, so for us we eat everything. Like literally, there's a joke that besides of the tail, we eat every part of the
Yeah.
animal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so thinking about like eating liver, right? Like the part of the liver is for the blood to come in, cleanse it, and shoot it back into the body. So all the toxins are staying in the liver. And then I'm putting all of that in my body. So just starting to think about it and the suffering of the animals. So it was more of like humanitarian kind of side of the things. And so I gave up meat about, I want to say like 11 years ago. And
Yeah.
then a year after that, I gave up dairy. Just because I realized what difference does it make? It's the same animal, the same abuse. And so I was giving up dairy, and I was obsessed with cheese, meat, cheesecake, ice cream, all of these things. You
Yeah.
just don't know that you can have all of that still just vegan, just in a different form. So I gave that up for after a year, and then I gave up caffeine. I don't know why, just decided to go with that. I've been empty ever since. And then I gave that up. And then for a while, I stayed like that and just kept hoping that I'll be able to give up fish and seafood. But I never knew that I could, because I love tuna, I love salmon, I love smoked salmon. Sushi was my life. So I always kept telling myself, if you want to do it, just believe that you can do it. And one day your mind is going to catch up with the body's going to catch up with the mind. They're going to align and you'll be able to stop it.
Yeah.
And it
And
started. Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I was gonna tell you, you gave me that revelation when we spoke, right? Because
right.
I think I was telling you my story about chicken, right? And how it was so hard. It's been so hard, right, for me to give up the chicken. But when you said that, like, just allow your mind, your body to
Yeah.
align, and I'm like, okay, that settles it for me.
Yeah, because you know what's funny? We don't realize it, but what we resist persists because we keep putting our energy and our focus on it. It's going to stay. It's not going anywhere. So if I constantly, I can't do it, I don't know how to do it, I don't know how to do it, I won't be able to do it. If the mind that creates the problem cannot be the same mind that will find the solution. So
Yeah.
I just have to let it go, and I just said, okay, I surrender. I know what I want. God knows what I want. The
Mhm.
intention is there. I'm not going to fight it. Not every time I eat it, I'm going to regret it or guilt myself over it. What's the purpose of that? I'm eating. I want to enjoy what I eat. One day it will happen. And every time people ask me like, you don't eat, so you're vegan? I'm like, no. So what do you? I'm like, I don't have a box. I don't eat meat. I don't eat dairy. That's it. Like I don't drink caffeine. Don't try to put me in a box. I can't explain it.
Right,
And
right.
and that's how it went. And then little by little it just started tasted funny. Like
Mm,
I realized that it's not sitting well with me. And the more I do it, the more it's becoming like worse in the feeling, just heaviness or burping for like hours after that. And I just told myself, okay, like your body doesn't like it anymore. You're not enjoying it. You're really suffering.
yeah,
Maybe let it go, at least for a little while, at least for a few days and see how it goes. And
yeah.
that's how it started. And it started with the tuna, and then it was the salmon. And then I kept telling myself, so I'm not going to eat sushi anymore. And I was like, yes, so you're not going to eat sushi anymore. You're
Yeah.
not going to die. You had sushi for 30 years, So it's okay. I can eat veggie sushi,
And I was gonna say there is veggie sushi.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
so that's how that, and then I found out what was coming for both of us that you
Mhm.
mentioned, which is
Mhm.
breast cancer.
Yeah.
And I found that out in beginning of January 2023, really like I think 2 days or 3 days into the new. That was like my happy new year. And I know how much cancer cells thrive on sugar. And
Mm,
I was a sugar addict my whole life. I was just obsessed with sugar. It was kind of a comfort thing for me for
mm,
many years. And it was always, again, way of defining myself that I love sugar and I'm always about sugar. So I was so used to being a person of sugar. And when I decided I wanted to quit sugar, I tried twice.
mhm,
Once my body went into crisis because I did it too extreme. And
mhm.
then the second time, I couldn't do it. After 2 days, I think I got my period, and the cravings were insane. And
Mm,
I was like,
yeah.
okay, I can't do it. I need something. And then all you need in life is leverage, really. So when cancer came along, I was like, okay, this is what I needed to do it and to do it once and for all. And
Yeah.
so I eliminated sugar. And when I eliminated sugar, I eliminated not natural sugars. Obviously, I still eat fruits and all of that, but just added sugar and I also took away carbs. So
Mm,
like rice because it's sugar process, it really breaks down in your system like sugar and pasta and bread. So I took all of those out of my diet too. Here and there, I can tell you like once in a blue moon, I think after a year and a half, I had like a pretzel or
mhm,
something. I still haven't had rice in almost 2 years. And
mhm.
but again, it's a journey, and everybody's like, "So what do you eat? What is there left to eat?"
There's
A
a lot.
ton
Yeah.
of things. And I make a lot of stuff, and I enjoy so much making it. And again, because the mindset wasn't, set to look for other options, that's all
Mhm,
I thought I had. So I
mhm.
had to eat the eggs, and I had to eat the honey, and I didn't know that there is an agave or maple or other sweeteners that are not coming from animal. And then when you decide to give up animal, then you realize, oh my God, there's so many other options out there.
Yeah.
So I do believe it's so important to stay mindful to the body and be healthy. Again, don't force yourself to do anything. If
Yeah.
you really want to, just focus on it. Just believe that you can. Don't tell yourself, I can't do it. You
Yeah.
can. Just give yourself the time to do so.
That's right. That's right. There's so many key things that you said there. The first thing that I wanted to reiterate, because I love that you said the mind that creates the problem is not the same mind that can fix the problem. I love that. I love that. So, but I also wanted to talk to you about, especially you being a Reiki master and very spiritual. Talk about that energy because you mentioned energy a few times. You talked about the energy that you were receiving, right? And thinking about the energy being received from the animals because they're
Right.
being tortured, right?
Right.
So key, right? So key to understand that energy is pretty much everything and in
It is.
everything, right?
It is.
So you talked about that part of it, and then you were talking about, as you were talking about the breast cancer, and I know we discussed this before too, the
Mhm.
energy that we're creating that is allowing our bodies to accept breast cancer. So talk about how, even from your professional standpoint too, like how to be able to recognize when the energy is not good, and then how to release it.
Yeah. Okay. Because there's like 5 different things you asked me, so I'm going to try to bring them all together.
Okay.
No, I love it though, because it's so perfect and it's so important. So everything is energy. Not pretty much it. Everything is energy. No matter what you take and put it under a microscope. You'll take a table, you'll take a light bulb, you'll put it under a microscope, under the smallest particle. When there's nothing left, it's energy. Right. So when we understand that, it's easier for us to understand that we can feel anything and everything because everything is the same. Think about it. If you walk down the street, somebody can walk across the street from you, behind you 50 steps with a cigarette, and you'll smell it. Why? Because it combines in the same molecule of the air, because it's all energy and it's all transferable. So when we have that mindset in mind and understand that everything is transferable, that's what energy never dissolves, or it just transfers from one object to the other. When we understand that, we can understand that it controls really my reality. Like you said, I can feel when energy is bad, and we all feel that. We might not understand that this is what we're feeling, but we all had that moment that somebody stood next to us and we felt a little weird, or and it's the energy, it's the vibe, it's that force field that is around us, that there is a certain level of like a how you call it, where not the spur, but whatever, like the
perimeter.
yeah, thank you so much. The perimeter of around us, there is a certain level that once somebody enters it and close enough, their energy combines with ours, and so we can feel it. And somebody walks in a room, their great energy, big light, everybody, all their eyes on them. It's their energy. So when we understand that, it's easy for us to understand how we can create our own reality. Now, for me, what I want to do, always, like you said, is to be happy. That's what's important to me. If I feel good, if I feel happy, if I feel the bliss, I'm in a good place. My energy is high, and it's frequencies, right? There's frequencies to everything. So I want to always elevate my frequency, always be on a higher vibe and a higher frequency that kind of resonate with the same frequency of what I'm looking for. I always give the example of, because I work with women and it's a lot about breakup and things like that. I always say you cannot have no self-worth and think low thoughts about yourself and have negative self-talk, and yet expect the most amazing man to come into your life. He won't find you. You have to be in a frequency that has so much more self-love in order to align yourself with someone in the same level. It's when I listen to 95 AM, but FM, I'm sorry, but I expect to hear what's playing on 105. That can't happen, That's what we turned into.
I'm going to tell you to describe that for those who are not in New York, right? Like, describe the different radio stations. I know what you're talking about.
103, I'm sure we all have it anywhere. But it's literally, and it's not like, and the idea to understand is, we can align ourselves with whatever we want because we can choose our thoughts, right? So I don't create the radio station. I just attune myself to listen to what's playing there. So I don't have to create everything. I just have to choose what I'm thinking about so I can align myself with what is here already created, right? That's the beauty. That's why we say we're co-creators of our reality, because we're really part of what's going on in everything that is already existing. Money is already there. Abundance is already there. Real love is already there. Complete well-being and health is already there. I just have to figure out how to align myself with that and what is blocking me from it, which is most of the time the way of thinking.
Yeah.
So because mind and body are connected as one, and that's how I believe, that's the coaching, and that's what I teach, and that's energy.
Yeah.
I believe that, when there's certain traumas within our lives, and we keep dwelling on them and thinking about them, even if it was when we were kids, and even if it went back into the subconscious, it's still
Yeah.
here. It
Yeah.
never got the chance to heal. So it's still there. At some point it will manifest in our body, because the only way for the soul to signal to us that something needs healing is through the physical body. That's the language it knows. So if I'm having some kind of a difficult or a dis-ease of
Yeah.
some sort, then this is the way that it'd be easier for me to understand it. Now, of course, not everybody lives like that, and not everybody understands that way of living. So a lot of time we see people be devastated from a disease, and the thought that
Yeah.
it's killing them is really killing them faster, because I've witnessed people who really healed themselves from chronic diseases, who went back to seeing after blindness, like things that you will say, oh my God, it's a miracle. It is.
Yeah.
But they used what they had in order to create that miracle. Somebody in a wheelchair walking again is not because it's God. Absolutely. I'm a huge believer in God, but it's because I allowed myself to see the God within me
Yeah.
together with God, and think those positive thoughts, and not diminish myself, but think of myself as God. I always say, Jesus was murdered for telling everybody to see themselves as God when they thought he's thinking he's God. He did. He just tried to show us that, we all have God within us. And
Yeah.
mind you, I'm a Jew, and I still get Jesus. Like, what so, you know, uh,
I
but yeah,
love it.
so that was part of breast cancer, understanding why did I manifest it? I truly
Yeah.
believe that we manifest our reality. And
Yeah.
our reality is created by our our personality creates our personal reality.
Mm-hmm.
And who I will be, and how I will act, and how I speak, and how I think is what creates the actions that are constantly being manifested in my life. And
Yeah.
so if I can be more mindful of
Mm-hmm.
how I'm thinking, of what I'm saying, and what I'm doing, I can create a better personal reality for myself. And
Yeah.
so that's how and people always talk about, I want to manifest the car, I want to manifest the job, and I always say, yeah, you should, but you should understand that you manifest everything. There's
Yeah.
no like, oh yeah, we're just going to manifest the good stuff,
Yeah.
like, no, we manifest everything. And
Yeah.
so when I found out about breast cancer, that was my first thought. Like, I was like, hold up, did I manifest breast cancer?
No, I
Like,
said the same thing to myself, like, how in the world did this happen? I think I can remember telling you too, like, I was approached by a woman years before the breast cancer even happened. I was approached by a woman in a parking lot. I'm at, out at outlet stores. I'm shopping. She approaches me in the parking lot. She says to me, you're dealing with something from a man. This is what she said, from a man, and you're suffering. And she said, she didn't say like that breast cancer was coming or anything like that, of course, but she said that I was suffering. And she basically was telling me that it was making me sick. Now, there was two men in my life that were driving me crazy. And one was at work, one was personal, right?
mm-hmm.
And because of that, right, I remember that when I found out that I had breast cancer, and she said it was on my right side. Lo and behold, breast cancer, it was on my right side.
Mine too.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, and I didn't think about it when she said it. And of course, at that time, I can say that I didn't necessarily believe in the energy, and I wasn't educated enough in it, right? And I didn't have enough life experience to really know about it, and I really didn't discover it until after having breast cancer. That's when really things changed in my life. But it was manifesting. It was something that I was manifesting because I was dealing with, I don't want to say trauma. I don't know if trauma is the right word, but maybe it is, right? I was dealing with some trauma, in my professional and personal life that manifested into breast cancer. So it is real. It is real. And I just want people to recognize that, what you are choosing, right? Again, going back to that word, what you are choosing to think, to allow yourself to go through, those feelings, those thoughts, those actions in your life are going to manifest in some way, good or bad. Like Lulu said, it happens either way. Yeah.
Right. And if you really think about it, there is no good or bad. Everything is just is,
Yeah.
because it's our perspective that makes it good or bad. When my mom passed away from cancer, cancer was the worst thing ever. I
Yeah.
hated cancer. I was the first one to hashtag fuck cancer, you know, and all of that, you know. And then I don't know what, it was almost 20 years afterwards when I had my cancer. And all of a sudden, cancer, I looked at cancer as a blessing. And
Yeah.
cancer was a gift for me because it moved me out of where I was, and it made me look at things that I needed to look in order to heal, because I always ask for growth and I always ask to be the best servant as I can for anyone out there. And I knew it was bigger than me, and I knew it was something that I need to heal within myself, and something that I'll be able to touch now millions of other women. Now I'm actually aligned with a whole new frequency of women that experience that I can relate to. So that was a big part of it, of understanding, okay, how can I do it? And I chose a natural way to heal too, which not a lot of people do or not a people trust. For me, it was just what was right for me. I didn't want to go to the radiation. I didn't want to go to the hormonal pills. I don't believe in it. You know, I remember my doctor was like, listen, it's dangerous. You have to do it. I said, I don't have to do anything. You want me to do it, and I get it. Going back to all the stuff that they're doing, pharma, making money off of us. So I was like, I respect you. I truly do. I respect everything you do. I respect the years you put into your education, but you cannot tell me what to do and what not to do with my body. This is my choice. And I remember she said, you have 30% chance of it coming back. And I said, so you know what that means? And she was like, what? I said that I have 70% chance of it not coming back.
That's right. That's right. And I wish I had argued that point a little bit more in the beginning when I first got breast cancer, because I decided to have a mastectomy on the right side. And then I took the medication, though. I wisened up real quick, I'll tell you. And as I started to research things, I wisened up real quick, because I took the medication for a year and a half. And when I tell you the damage, right, the things that were the side effects that were coming from that, I said to my doctor, this is it. I'm not doing this anymore, and I'm going to take care of this my own way, holistically. And I've been doing that ever since. But, the impression that they make on you, that, like you said, there's a 30% chance that you're going to.
It's like you're going to die if you're not going to do what we tell you. And I'm like, no, I'm not. There's the same thing with the mind that creates the problem cannot find the solution. Same thing. The body that created the disease can heal the disease. That body is not dependent on radiation or chemo. It doesn't even know what that is. It created the disease in order for me to understand what's going on here on a deeper level. And if I do the work enough to understand it, and there are so many books and so many research that all this beautiful audience that is here with us today can look into. Literally every part of the body sits on something else. Like liver is guilt, and lower back is financial stress, and knees are parents' issue. There's millions of things. Like literally every part of the body has something that aligns with it on a deeper level. So you just research, just understand. I had to understand what breast means, what the right side means, what chakra is it sitting on. So how is that aligned? And and I did my work there. I did the mushrooms, and I did the herbs, and I did everything I needed to do. And I journaled, and I meditated, and I put the effort into it. And nothing mattered beside my healing. I didn't care about work. I didn't care about money. I said, God will take care of me. I'm okay. The most important thing for me right now is to focus on that. And I remember asking my son if he's worried about me. And he said, should I? I was like, I don't know. He's like, I don't see you worried about you. Why I need to be worried about you? And I said, thank you, God. That's all I needed to hear. And things that empower you in your healing journey. I never called myself sick. I never referred to myself as sick. I told myself words have power. This is your time to practice what you preach. I teach people that all the time. Now that you're in the hot seat, let me see what you can do about it. So I just kept saying every time I talked about it, I said, I'm healing from cancer. I'm healing from cancer. There's no sickness in my body. I'm just healing from this disease that has landed in here, that I manifested for whatever reason.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I always say too, even now, like I'm thriving as a result of having cancer, right? Because I'm manifesting, that 70%, right? That they
Right.
tell you, I'm manifesting that 70%, not the 30. So I always say I'm thriving from it. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Everyone, do not go anywhere because you want to stay tuned to what we have for you next. Here we go. All right, and we are back.
Yeah.
I'm always jamming in the background. I just
I
love
know, such a good tune. I want to say one thing. May I say one thing just before we continue? Just to finish that subject.
Yeah.
I don't want to think, I don't want anyone to think that I know you're not either, because we had that conversation, that we're judging anyone for their decision on how to deal with their cancer, right? I have friends, and I have close friends, and I have women I work with that go through chemo and radiation and take the hormonal pill for 5 years, and that is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
All I'm doing in here is offering a different perspective. I want you to know that there is another way to do it. That if those, like you said, that after a year that you tried something, it doesn't work for you and you feel more sick than better, know that there are other ways. Know that there is a whole nother word out there that you can attune to, that people use on a daily basis and heal with. So you just have to know that there are options out there, but no judgment. Please, being healthy and being happy is the most important part, and being secure in your journey is what will get you healthy. So if you tell me I'm going to do let me do the natural, but I'm not sure, I'm really scared, then don't do it, because it's not going to work. Do what you feel secure in getting healthy, and that should be your journey. And on top of that, you can explore other things. But it was important because I don't want anybody to think that I think that my way is the best way. Not at all.
Yeah. And just to add to that too, right? Just understanding that you have complete autonomy over your body. So listen to what your body is telling you, right? We talked about just before we went to the break, the differences between how we decided to handle it. I was unsure, right? Until I started taking the medication, and I knew there was a better way for me because I didn't like how things were showing up in my body. So listen to your body and make decisions based on what you feel is best for you. And you have the right to do that. I want to tell that to everybody too.
Absolutely.
You have the right to do that.
Absolutely. I had arguments with my doctor constantly because she didn't agree with the way I'm doing things. But it's okay. I know she couldn't stand me anymore. I know she really didn't like me anymore. But it is what it is. I'm going to stay true to myself. And again, I did the surgery. Everything else was natural, but I still did the surgery. I know people who didn't even do surgery and just killed it on their own fully. So there is that option too. I didn't want my sisters overseas to be freaking out. I knew everybody was worried. I knew it was small. I said, okay, let me just get it done and over, get that out of my system and move on from there. But again, like you said, there are so many different routes. Just research as much as you can and do what makes you feel good with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So now that's a great segue into our subject for tonight, where we're talking about inner and outer beauty wisdom, right? So this goes with, like understanding who you are, right? So talk to us about, how you approach your clients when they are struggling with or having a hard time with beauty, right? And it could be for multiple reasons, right? But talk to us about like what that process looks like.
Well, it depends on what they're coming from. Some of them come because of outer beauty, and then we turn in the inner. Some come from the inner, and then we turn into the outer.
Yeah.
But they really do go hand in hand. You know, when you look good, you feel better. When you feel good, you look better.
Yeah.
So I always work on that. A lot of times we start with the inner and
Mhm.
then move on to the outer, and the coaching is about really understanding ourselves, like you said.
Yeah.
So I go with the emotional pattern. It's funny because people always ask me, "How do you coach?" I said, "We have coffee. That's my coaching. You
I
know,
love
we
it.
have coffee, we talk, and because I see what you can't." And
Yeah.
I can see just by you telling me three, four stories of your life, I can already see the chain reaction, the pattern, how it was built, who you've been, and how that affected your life. He blessed me with that. That's why I'm so humble, because I don't believe it's me. I
Yeah.
believe it's beyond me, and I'm just a vessel for that. So it's got nothing to do with me. So I listen, and whatever I see and whatever I feel, I start talking about it. So I always start with emotional things about, what bothers you now. And then I pick up, and then I'll go and I'll take it. When was the last time you felt that? And then somehow we get into a story from childhood that had something to do with that there is a connection between those feelings. And then we start breaking it down. I always motivate them to understand what their true self is, right? And that's the hardest thing for us to do, because there are so many things to unlearn, and
Yeah.
unlearning is so much harder than learning,
Yeah.
because this is already embedded in here. It's years of behaving the same way, believing about ourselves the same thing, and having the same pattern of actions and behavior that are coming from these beliefs. And a belief is really just a truth that we, you know, understand and repeat over and over and over again until it locks in as a belief. And that's it. That's what I believe in about myself, about the environment, about anything else. So it starts from there, and then we start kind of breaking it down. Everybody is different. It depends if they come from me about weight loss problems, if they come about, personal issues with their partners, or looking for love, or whatever it may be. Why no, but why I can't find the right partner? Why am I always attracting the same person? Or things like that. I've been working with women, and again, that's been my issue too. Not necessarily an issue that I saw as a big issue, but after my divorce, I was together for 16 years, I think. Yeah, 14 years married. And
Mhm.
again, then you break up, and then you realize that all your issues from your 20s
Mhm.
didn't go nowhere. They just get like hidden under the wedding ring, and now that that's off, everything is coming back up to the surface.
Yeah.
It's like, oh damn it, I got to deal with everything again. So you just start digging in and try to understand. When they come with their outer beauty, I always speak about how unique we all are. And
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of being beautiful, like understanding that there over 80 or however many billion people are in the world, and there really is no one else like you.
Yeah.
And the way that we compare ourselves to other, and that idea of beauty and the idea of perfection, I know it because I worked behind the scene. You read in my bio, I worked with Victoria's Secret models. I did New York Fashion Week. I
Yeah.
worked with top models. I did, everything on live and in photo shoots. I
Mhm.
know how they looked when they sat in my chair, and I know how they looked on the cover of the magazine. And it's day and night.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's day and night.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to me that still, with all the information that we have out there, some people, most people, and especially the young generation, don't
Mhm.
understand and don't believe that it's half of it, if not more, is fake.
Yeah.
It's Photoshop, it's lighting, it's makeup, it's the
Yeah.
tinting, it's the editing. There's so much goes into a picture. And
Yeah.
we're actually able to see it ourselves, because we have filters to play with on Snapchat, on Instagram,
Right.
you know and I'm like, and for me it's funny, because people tell me, you always preach self-love and natural beauty, and you use the filter. I use the filter because I don't feel like doing my makeup at 6 o'clock in the morning, honey. So but I use the filter that looks really just like me. Literally, it takes off a little dark circles and add bronzer. I'm okay with that. I'm fine. Right now, I don't have any filter on me. When I do lives, I never have filters on me. It's not like I'm ashamed on how I look like, and I would never come on camera without every professional photo shoot I have. I do not want it edited. I do not want it photoshopped. I'm okay with changing a little bit of the lighting, but even when I did my calendar, I had a calendar last year. And when the photographer sent me the pictures, and I was like, dude, that's not my butt. When you rounded it, you took off. I have cellulites, and I'm okay with showing it because I'm 45 years old. You know what I mean? Like, don't change me like that. Don't put me looking like I don't feel comfortable, because I do preach natural beauty and self-love. I've never done any work. Not yet. I'm never going to say never, because the wrinkles in here sometimes drive me crazy, and sometimes I don't mind them, But I always tell women, find it in a beautiful way to embrace it. Your nose is long, you have a bone. That's fine. That's what's special to you. It adds character. So yeah, you'll have the days that you'll be like, wish I could do a plastic surgery, I don't say those days don't exist. We can't wake up every single day like, oh, I'm gorgeous, I'm loved. No, some days we have shitty days, but it's okay, because most days you don't talk negatively constantly to yourself and tell yourself that you're horrible, that you don't look good, that look how everybody else is so beautiful and you're not, and your hair is this, and your nose is this, and your brows are like that. That is what makes us ugly, and we're not. But when we walk around the street feeling that way, it doesn't matter how much makeup you're going to put on. You're still going to radiate that type of energy of no self-worth, no self-confidence, and not feeling pretty with yourself. So I try to teach those things, and that's why I spoke about my Layers of Beauty workshop when you introduced my bio. That workshop is truly, I feel like, my life's work, and I cannot wait for it to grow and grow more, because I teach a full makeup class, but I constantly align makeup techniques with self-development methods. So I want you to understand things. I always talk about concealer and how it's like the brightening of the eye, and it's brightening our view of the world, right? And I want to know that so many women tell me, I don't want to edit. It's another step. I said, no problem. But if every time you walk through a mirror, you look at yourself and you feel like you look tired, and you feel like you look drained, and you see it and you mention it, then I'd rather you take the 2 minutes and actually use those 2 minutes to tell yourself, I'm seeing everything brighter. I am looking more brighter, and you do something good with those 2 minutes. It's affirmation, it's positivity, it's giving yourself the confidence. And then you don't spend the whole day thinking about how bad you look, because every time you look in the mirror, you forgot already that you look
good.
Yeah, exactly.
So when it comes to your workshop, so I'm asking for myself. I'm gonna be really transparent here, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not a makeup girl, right? I don't know how to put on the makeup, so I need to take the workshop first of all, because I don't know how. And I want to do like natural makeup so that it looks like me.
Yeah.
But
and that's what I do.
What would you say for people to, just in general, like what to start with out there? I'll tell you what I did do, because I'm going on vacation, so I got to tell myself too. I bought the eyebrow, the Mad Love with the stencils, the eyebrow stencils.
Oh yeah, how do you like them?
My eyebrows, because I don't know how to shape them.
I love it. Do you like them?
I don't know. I didn't use it yet. It just came yesterday. So
let me know.
I will, because I bought it for vacation, so I could try to do this myself, right? But if
it's funny, because some women would think that's complicated.
Right.
And you thinking that it's going to make it easier for you. That's why it's so important for women to understand that there are 1,000 million gazillion perspectives about beauty. Just find what works for you. But if you're not going to try, you're never going to know. And 90% of my clientele is women who never do makeup, who don't like makeup, or don't have any patience to do makeup. Because somewhere along the line, either somebody made a big deal out of it, or somebody put them down for doing it wrong, and then they just gave up, or anything like that. So I mean, natural is my aesthetics. That's what I teach in my workshops. I teach your morning fresh 10-minute makeup that can last all day, and I'll teach you a couple of tricks on how to upgrade it to for nighttime. Let's say you go to drinks after work, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want you to get discouraged from doing makeup, and I don't want you to think that what they show you on social media and on YouTube, that's really what you need to do. Nobody needs 15 layers of foundation and concealers. No, we don't
Yeah.
have the time, the want, or the need for it. I
Yeah.
won't do it, for I would never.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience. But right now, I look enough natural to you? Let's say
Yeah,
just in
absolutely.
general. Right.
Absolutely.
So I have concealer, I have powder, I have 2 eyeshadows, I have
Wow.
mascara, I have a bronzer, I have a highlighter, I have a blush, and I have a lip gloss. You see
Oh,
all that?
wow. No, first of all, you don't even look like you have anything on.
Okay, well, there we go. I'll come a little bit closer.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And
So
so I
that
teach how to do all of those layers. Sorry.
yeah. No, I was just saying it looks beautiful. It looks
Thank
beautiful.
you.
So
Thank
natural.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I teach all those layers in a way that
Wow.
why you do them is not because you need them. It's because I know that when you do your makeup at 8 o'clock in the morning, you don't want it to be gone at 10 a.m. So
Right.
I'll teach you how to do it in a smart way and in the right order so it can last all day, but still look natural, look like you. So I'll teach you how to contour and redefine your facial features, but I'll also teach you how to contour and redefine your limiting beliefs.
Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of like how I align things. And I give, little tips on how to do a smoky eye or a crease work. And I always talk about blending, and I always align that with the blending of intuition and doubt, and blending our place of where we are and where we see ourselves. So I kind of bring you on a whole journey of self-awareness. That's why I call it mindful makeup artistry, because I want you to be in the moment when you're doing it and understand the layers of everything, because makeup is more than skin deep. When we actually take the time and we look at ourselves in the mirror, I always laugh that everybody has issues, honey, more than Vogue. All got the issues. So just figure them out, understand them, embrace them, because it's part of who you are and it's part of your journey. I've been through so much in my life. I've seen so much trauma. I'm Israeli originally, so I lived terror my whole life. PTSD, ADHD, OCD, you name it, I have it. I had eating disorders. My father had a really bad accident when I was almost 6 years old, and I dealt with living with brain injury and verbal abuse constantly. I dealt with so many things. My ex-husband was African American and Christian. I'm Jewish, so I had to deal with biracial marriage and mixed religion and raising mixed children. Really, everybody got so many things going on in their lives that don't single yourself out and think that that's what defines you. Again, you can redefine yourself over and over again. People told me I'm crazy to get divorced because my husband is great. I agree. He is great. We're just not great together anymore, So I'm not going to stay put where I don't feel fulfilled and I don't feel like I live in my truth. You asked me before, how do we know? Energetically. I want to feel constantly happy. And if I don't feel happy and I don't feel fulfilled, something energetically is wrong. And I don't say get up and move right away. You try. And we try. We just realize that. And then, everybody's like, what are you going to do? You're 45. You know how hard it is out there? I've been on all the dating apps. I haven't found anybody yet. Honey, I'm in the most beautiful relationship of my life. I'm the most in love in my life. And I always believed in it. That's the only reason why I have it, because from day one, I said, I haven't even loved as big as I can. So I'm going to find that person that will speak my language and do, and that doesn't take away from my ex-husband. It doesn't take away from our marriage. It's got nothing to do with it. That was beautiful for what it was. It's done. I moved on, and now I found something that filled me up and fulfilled me and was everything that I felt like I was lacking. But I believed in it. I never, and again, when I coach women, I always say, if you're going to constantly tell me all the men, girl, you left yourself no men. Because you just said all the men. When are you going to find one? You can even find one. You just said all. There you go. So words have power. And if you think it and you say it, you're going to end up believing in it, and that's the reality you're going to create for yourself. So watch your mouth.
That's right. That's right. And that's a good note to end on too. But I want to share your website first before we go,
Oh,
right?
thank you.
It's
Yeah.
www.lulumwa.com.
Everybody thinks that that's what it is, but it's really short for makeup artist.
I love it. I love it. But it sounds better, right, Lulu?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
I love that. So
Yeah.
make sure, everyone, that you go to her website, book yourself some time in the workshop. Or I know that, Lulu, really quickly, because we only have a few seconds before we close out the show, but talk about your PDF that you have coming out.
Yeah, just go on my website, fill out the information, the contact form. I'll send you a free PDF with some inner and outer beauty wisdom. All my social media is out there too, so feel free to follow me. I always share inspiration. I always share love. If you're commenting in here, I'm sorry I can't see it, but I love you and I appreciate you being here. And I hope you find value in our conversation. Tracy, you're amazing. I'm appreciative so much of you and your time too.
And I appreciate you too. I'm so glad that you made it here. And listen, everybody, I'm just going to put it out there because I'm manifesting this. You're going to see more of Lulu Moi on the Whole Living Show.
I would love to. It would be an honor. I'm grateful and humbled to share the stage with you.
Absolutely. So we will see you again, everyone. Make sure that you tune in next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about what you're putting in your body next week. So tune in. We love you here. Stay tuned for Lulu coming up again. Make sure that you look out for her on the Whole Living Show pages, on Facebook and YouTube, and on the E360 TV network. We love you, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear.